Good afternoon, gamers, and welcome to HBF Season 10 Sky Division Power Rankings. We got a new crew compared to last time. Well, we got one person the same because some folks couldn't make it. Anyway, I'm S, and I don't know how to do intros. Co-host, introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Paul.
Oh, I'm Seb, and I'm obviously your Sky mod, and our admin.
Yes. We thought we were going to have Necrowolves here, but we actually don't. So
He's here in spirit.
it's true. He's here in spirit. And now we just get to get started on the funny. Speaking of the funny, that's what this is. It's the funny. These are opinionated. These are just for fun. Please don't sue us. Yada yada. Power rankings disclaimers. These are non-personal opinionated comments. Ooh, spooky.
All comments are non-personal except when Zeb is yelling at you for sniping his Mega Zeb Striker.
Yeah, and also if we suggest changes, you don't have to make the change to the team, even if we suggest them.
Oh, absolutely. Us saying your team sucks doesn't necessarily mean you suck. And let's go to our first team. As always the case, we're going to be doing these in draft order rather than in tiering order. Don't worry, we've got a wonderful, glorious tier list here. We've got the Chef's Kiss tier for perfection. And then will make playoffs, might make playoffs, won't make playoffs, might win a game, and, as always, you know we need to be going to hell. Let's start off with our first team. Butterchoke's aptly named Valiant Sucks, and proceeded to draft a team that is almost, not entirely ripped to shreds by Iron Valiant, but almost ripped to shreds by Iron Valiant.
And also a team that is very deeply cringe.
Yeah, well, what I said is true. It's not cringe by technicality, so you don't get the cringe role, but the team is still cringe. Just like look at the team. Even if you ignore that it has like almost no insurgents mons, it's also just a bunch of regular mons. Like there's no sauce to it, nothing fun. I guess the only fun thing about this team is like Terra Gyarados. That's cool. That's fun. The rest is not.
I think my own comment sums up my feelings pretty well. This team is just boring. I don't really have a lot to say about it. It's functional. You covered your speed tiers. You've got a good mix, physical and special attack.
Yeah, trying to be more like factual. It's a good team. Like it's good bulk. Like Milo Pharaoh is like it's a meme. It's like also meme pairing them, but they are good together. Other than Corrode Incident, you have like good bulk, good removal. You have good hazards. It's just there's not much more to say. I don't have much to say on it. It's just a good team, and that's kind of all that is. Like a good boring team.
We even get to do backdoor trick room with Terra Musharna into Ursaluna.
Yeah.
Which is always fun.
Yeah, it's functional. It's very straightforward, but very effective. It's just it's very standard. Like this just looks like a regular-ish Gen 9 draft with a Mega Milotic on it.
And hell, if you replace the Mega on the Milotic with a regular Milotic, it's basically just a Gen 9 draft. It has 3 waters, which one of them is a fake water in Gyarados, and one of them is also a fake water in Tentacruel.
I mean, yeah, that's why the Gyarados is Terra.
True, that is why the Gyarados is Terra.
That's most Tentacruel is there for like spin. It's just a poison. The main reason
I think is there for spin, fairy resist, and
it's poison.
Well, it's actually being able to switch into Corrode.
True. Yeah. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, and I do agree that. I just want to point out, since Butterchoke has like been very highly on Terra Musharna, it's a good Terramon. It's nothing special. Like it's honorably good. It's not like some behemoth that will change everything. It's just a good Pokemon that like succeeds by like likes getting rid of the poor psychic typing. But it's
Gyarados is going to Terra more often than not here.
I'm actually not sure. Like this guy loves Terra Musharna, so it might seem like that.
There will likely be some games also where Terrados just does nothing.
Yeah. Also, actually, one thing I forgot to mention. Actually, that's the one biggest flaw when you go to the next slide. You see it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh yeah, the Edgequake problem.
And not only that, the ground resists are Latios and Gyarados.
Okay, but let's also be fair to this team. 2 of these weaknesses for both ground and rock, god damn it, are Plusle and Sunflora.
Also fair, but like, it's not just the weaknesses. Not having, like, getting folded by any ground type that either has Stone Edge, and or just has like another good attack to hit Latios. Like Latios doesn't take.
We also have to keep in mind there's a Ferrothorn here. Ferrothorn is an excellent switch into most ground types.
Yeah.
The only thing it really has to fear is a stray fire type attack from certain ones, or a corrode from like a Nido, for example.
Yes, but Nido is also just going to fire type attack them.
Yeah, there's other ground types. There's like other ground poisons. I think I might be.
Yeah, there's Delta Hydreigon.
Ferrothorn's still really good ground switch in, as is Ursaluna if you have to, and hell, Mega Milo.
Yeah, like it can kind of go.
Ground weakness is actually a very big deal.
It can kind of just go by in raw bulk. It's just like a Banded Earthquake or like super strong Earth Power, like Life or Earth Power, like from Nidos, is gonna be a pain to switch into.
Yes, but neutral bulk does not. Neutral bulk still can switch into that.
Yeah.
It's situational and it'll be rough, but it's doable. Yeah. I don't think that's a major knock.
Where do you think we put it?
Yes, we have to put this, and I'll slide correctly this time.
I think it's between might or will. Like, it's definitely a good team.
I think it should be will. I think it should be and will make playoffs.
This is a pretty safe will.
Top 7 is very sound. Like, it's it's an exceptionally boring team, but it's an effective one.
Yeah.
They at least followed the HBF rule of boring. If you're gonna be boring, at least be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. And if you're gonna get a Mega, if you're only gonna get one Insurgents Mon, Mega Milo's a pretty fucking good one.
If you're only gonna get one relevant Insurgents Mon, Mega Milotic is a pretty good one.
Hence why I said if you're only gonna get one Insurgents Mon.
That is fair. I figured I should specify. Anyway.
Plusle might come to a game. That's on Flora's never.
Plusle was relevant in low-tier Noradiv with the piloting of the wonderful Noah Pikaclicks. That's the best I've ever seen Plusle do, and it didn't even do particularly well. Anyway, team number 2. Hang Clays' Chicago Cinderace. We're going to double Milotic. Or we go from Milotic to Milotic.
Yeah. Again, it's... When you have Mime, you're always going to be better off for it. The one issue I could see, Mime plus Ambipom is not the best. I know it has Shadow Punch, but you also kind of sometimes you want Poltergeist because Shadow Punch is kind of weak from Ambipom. So like that's like, I don't like that pairing, but it could work still.
I also really don't love that pairing for 2 reasons. First off, their roles are extremely similar. They're 2 fast offensive mons with similar-ish offensive typings in that Ghost and Dark have extremely similar offensive coverage, but also they share a lot of the same checks. Like, they have trouble with bulky steel types, they have trouble with bulky, Mime doesn't have trouble with bulky darks, but Impom does.
I mean, so does much of this team, in fairness. Where are the numbers? I was looking for the numbers. I cannot find the numbers.
This team really doesn't feel like a 9-mon team to me. This feels like an incomplete 11-mon team. Like, there's a lot of just mid-tier mons here. I don't understand why we dipped from 17 points to 15 for the Treads in round 3.
Yeah. And I could also see, like, there are games where, like, there's gonna be several games where Mime is the only offensive threat. If you're able to stop Mime, then, like, yes, Zapdos can be offensive, Treads can be offensive, Ambipom is not, it's not like a bad offensive one, but it's like most other teams have like something on like Mime, and then you also have like 2 or 3 other like massive threats.
It's just like I look at this team, I see Mellow Mime, okay, Bulky Steel can give that some issues. I see Zapdos, Bulky Steel can give that some issues. Same for Ambipom, same for Cleavor. Like they have coverage moves for them, but the Treads and the Skeledirge and the Chestnut, like, those need to... At least one of those needs to come to every single game. Potentially 2 of them to deal with the steals.
Yeah. Maybe after the month, like, Skeledirge looks like... Is there, like... It is a decent, like, steel beater, but it's also...
Oh, no, so is Treads. I should preface this. I'm complaining a lot. I don't think this is an outright bad team.
Oh, no.
I just think it's a team that's lacking in a lot of key areas, but it's far from bad. It's functional still.
Yeah. obviously then the question becomes, well, it's true. It's kind of layered. Like, is the like this is like just this is a functional team, but like there's nothing special to it outside of mine because it like
Yeah.
for being like kind of lacking offensively, it's not even like that bulky. It's like Milo Zapdos is like decent defensively, and like Dirge and Chestnut can both work, but it's like I've seen bulkier
Trent's
teams.
alright.
Yeah,
Can we go to the type chart real quick, just to see what the matchups look like? Because I feel like that's going to dictate a lot.
Yeah, this type chart is very fine.
It's overall well balanced. Yeah, it's just I really do feel like a lot of this boils down to just the stats on the mons themselves just are kind of underwhelming, and there's a lot of role overlap here.
yeah.
Like, it's also, this team is going to get Rocky helmeted into Oblivion, is another thing that needs to be mentioned.
I do like the focus on trying to overload the common checks to these mons. Because if there's a Delta Regirock and Ambipom manages to trick it, for example, then everyone just wails on the entire roster.
Yeah,
But your best
Melomine wants to
consistent
click
breaker is a Skeledirge. Where are the numbers? There are no numbers. This team has no numbers. Let's rank it.
The closest thing to a button on this is, like, Bandit Earthquake from the Treads.
And even then, that's not a very good button.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
where are we putting this? I like it in my...
I think might make playoffs is where I would
For
put it.
I think we can put it for now. Like obviously, there will still be like weirder teams in Sky, but compared like if this was in most other games or Infernal and especially Abyssal, this would be like hard to the top. But because Sky is like better, it might move down to.
It
low.
might move down, but I think this is a good spot for now. Let's see the
Yeah,
rest of the draft.
Yeah.
Okay, next up.
Yes, next up. I'm very good at this game.
Hey.
Anyway, stop posturing me with Discord notifications. It's Jiggy, the Detroit Luxray. We sought the buttons, and here are the buttons and the numbers.
Wear hazards.
Uh,
Just wear hazards.
so-
Why is it all
the
Goddle?
hazards are on a bunch of Pokemon that don't want to run hazards, and then Goddle.
Wait,
They're
4?
four.
What's the fourth? Bisharp, Goddle, Metagross. What's the fourth?
Annihilate.
Annihilate has Stealth Rock.
Yeah.
To be fair, like non-Terranilip, it's not the like you don't want to run it often, but it can run rocks like decently.
Okay, Groddle is still going to be setting the majority of the hazards.
Oh,
for
yeah,
this game.
Oh, yeah. But Terra Groddle, you could do a lot worse than Terra Groddle.
Also,
Yeah,
get a
like-
look at that ground weakness.
That's quite big. That is quite big.
Yeah.
When your immunity is Tornadus, and
Yeah, and that's it.
your best ground your best ground resistances are Tornadus and Groddle, which
Which
Groddle beats a lot of grounds, but you're overloading my boy. What the hell is this? His man is 5 points. Like, oh boy.
yeah, obviously like just the pure amount of offense this team has will overload like some teams. Just like to get the top 6 all and then like a Delta Heatmore in the back, all are like can be like big offensive threats. But it could also just if this team has to like slow down for a bit, it's very easy to just like counter sweep it basically.
Yeah, it's also extremely physically offensive. There's Volcanion and Tornadus for like some solid special
And
attackers, but
UFI. And UFI.
oh, and UFI. It's like, but I still feel like it's predominantly physical. Like with the way that the team is built, Tornadus and Volcanion are going, and especially UFI are going to have to take bulky roles in a lot of matchups where
Yeah,
they
that's
won't
true.
be able to exert that offensive pressure. I feel like I should bring up the helmet bait problem again here. And like Metagross and Annihilate Bisharp will get helmeted pretty badly. Bisharp is going to have to knock that off.
But at
I
least
think it's
they're
Tornadus
not
as
going
well.
to do as many attacks into the helmet because they just have the Demuglios.
Yeah, like Bisharp can knock it off. Tornadus can knock it off.
Yeah.
I don't think this team is like bad, but it's got some really, really huge issues that definitely hold it back.
And for being such an offensive team, like it's not slow, but it's not like fast either. It's like
The
like
speed gap is kind of questionable.
like if there's a fast mon that like can deal with Torn, then you're gonna really struggle to revenge it.
And
Just as a
especially so when your
hypothetical
fat
example-
is Daxbun Torn Grottle.
So, just
Yeah.
as a hypothetical example, a Weavile into this team. Triple axle, knockoff, low kick, and then, like, Ice Shard in the fourth slot. What does this team do about that?
Tries with Volcanion or Groddle.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
Grottle is gonna get
oh,
knocked in this example.
I mean, yeah.
And another example, Delta Scyther into this team.
Oh,
What does it
yeah.
do against that?
That's the Demuglios right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like this team. An ice with fighting coverage is another specific archetype that gives this team issues, and the problem is a lot of good ice types have fighting coverage and insurgents.
Yeah, or just like, or any form of like offensive speed boosting mon, like just like even like something like a DD gouging fire or like the booster valiant. Like your only priority is like Sucker Bisharp, and your only mon that like semi likes running Scarf is Annihilate, and Annihilate's decent Scarf, but it's not that fast, so it's like you could struggle to actually like deal with opposing offensive threats. Like this team
Yeah.
probably thralls most defensive teams, but it's got to struggle with offense of its own, or
Yeah,
facing
You're-
offense.
I think this team is solid, but it has some massive issues.
It did not draft enough fat to fix its offensive problems. The Delta Heatmore is kind of out of place because Delta Heatmore's thing is big dumb button with mediocre speed, and
I think
you
it's also-
have a Ruin Gross.
That shift gear is like a very different type, but it's mostly special.
Yeah,
I feel that isn't that also reasonably expensive with Terra this season as well?
most
Yeah.
likely.
Or-
If Heatmore gets replaced with some fatty that can take a ground move, I think this team is fantastic. But as it stands,
Also, another note:
yeah,
slow pivoting does not exist. Only pivoting is Torn and Annihilate, and that's it.
yeah, but who
UFI
cares?
has both glitch,
We have
doesn't it?
UFI.
I
We
guess-
have
okay,
fake
okay,
Ruin
that's-
Gross sets.
Okay, I checked it. Delta Heatmore is 12 points. You could definitely fix this team with 12 points by dropping that,
Yeah.
especially for a different Terra Captain.
Yeah. But yeah,
I don't think I
we're
have
rank
this
this team.
Yes, we have to rank this team. The more offensive the division, the worse this team gets.
I want to put this in won't, personally. I think won't make playoffs in the current state would be where I'd put it.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
There are too many
It's easily
speedster
fixed.
problems.
But it's easily fixed, but we can't rank the team on how easily fixed it is. We have to rank it on the current state. So
Indeed, we do have to rank them
Alright,
in their
let's-
current state.
move on.
What kind of...
Oh wait, actually, go back.
Oh, yeah, what we doing? What we doing, boss?
I just realized something. There are no war resists. There's only Volcanion and Grottle.
Okay, that's good enough.
Oh yeah.
Yes, but I do want to point out the Volcanion struggles to do anything back to the Warriors. It has to Toxic them. That's like its only real option, or I guess you can do some shenanigans with Solar Beam. And Godel just isn't very strong. Like, that Earthquake back isn't doing very much. You really need to rely on Toxic to deal with opposing Waters.
Okay.
'Cause look at the other options. Ruin
UFI.
Gross and Annihilate can't take Scald. Bisharp can't take Scald. UFI is like the only other real thing that can deal with opposing Waters. I just noticed that on the type chart.
Yeah.
Wanted to point that out.
That's kind of fine. Like, if
Yeah,
you
you
tell me
can't
irrelevant
do it,
water, tell me
but-
irrelevant water that doesn't want to get toxic by Grottle and Volcanion.
Tentacruel. That just could speed down for Earthquake.
Yeah, Tentacruel
yeah.
doesn't work because
It's not
Grottle just
too
quakes it.
straight, But it's something that I wanted to mention.
Yeah,
just don't have-
I think it's a much smaller deal than you make it out to be. Shall we move on to our next team?
Potentially.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, let's
Awesome.
It doesn't affect my
And
account,
here comes one of the waters that previous team is going to be just fine against. Anyway, this is a
Yeah.
Dragapult Mega Spiritomb team, so they got the speed and they got the button, and then they got the fraud. Dolphin.
And then they got, like...
And then they
nothing
got a
else.
bunch of Chonkers, a weirdly kind of their Gardevoir, the best Pokemon on their team, and Fortress.
Having like removal the Fortress and Togekiss is kind of a yikes. Like
Terra Fortress, I will give you some good stuff too, though. That feels like it's going to be a...
I think the removal is fine. It's fine. It's not amazing, but it's alright.
I guess with Terra Fortress is like it's like slightly better because it can get away from the water fire weak.
Yeah. Also, most of the mons here aren't terribly concerned about hazards anyway. The only real one's the Gardevoir.
That's
far from the end of the world. I think the bigger problem this team has is with opposing fairy types, because the resist is the Heatran.
And the pre-Terra Fortress.
Resist. Oh, Fortress, yeah, with its 40 SPF is definitely taking the Moonblasts.
It's like 60s or even 80. It's not that bad.
No, it's 40 special defense. I've used this. I've fought this mon so many goddamn times. If I am incorrect on this, then you're allowed to punch me. Okay, it's 60. That's still dog shit.
I mean, yeah.
But my thing is, some fairies, this team is fine against. Like, if it's fighting, say, most normal game fairies, I think this team will be fine against. But if this team has to fight anything that has a good water-grounded fighting move, say, Valiant, Chandelure,
Mellowmime,
Enamorist, Mime. There's so many fairies, both vanilla and insurgents, that just fuck Heatran sideways, and this team is absolutely going to fold to them, because aside from that, its only defense is Noctum, which doesn't last very long.
No, it has the best special fairy defense ever. It has Terra Munchies.
Yeah, it can potentially rely on the neutral blow. Like the Valiant example I mentioned before, Togekiss could potentially take that on, for example. But
or you just Terra Poison your Munchies and you kill everything. Terra Munchies holds this team together.
Yeah, that's another thing. Well, not much.
Like, why is this team held together by Terra Munchies? But it is held together by Terra Munchies.
Another huge problem here: T-spikes. There is no poison. Removal is meh at best. So, like, T-spikes
I will give you, gives this team immense problems.
Like,
Dragapult,
I feel like most weeks you're just gonna be...
Most
weeks, you're gonna be forced into Terra Poison, much like the Fortress.
Or to just keep the Fortress as a steel type so it can spin them off without getting poisoned itself.
Oh, I guess, but like...
That is the one thing I'll give it against the T-spikes. At the very least, its two removers are immune to it, but...
Yeah. Also... I mean, it's a very good ghost resist, but even then, Tinglu is the only ghost resist. So like, if Tinglu gets low, which it inevitably will, then this team might struggle against other ghosts, especially because you boost them up.
Yeah, I will say again, Togekiss as neutral bulk against a ghost type is sometimes very effective. That thing, most ghosts are special attackers, and the SPF on that thing's immense.
And and to be fair, there is also like Tomb, Sucker Punch, and just Pull to revenge him. So it's not like the it's just...
I don't think this team is that afraid of ghosts, but it can potentially have problems.
Yeah.
Actually, can we get a look at the type chart?
Of course.
Yeah.
Good thing you have the best ghost. Yeah, the ghost resist isn't that bad. Oh, your darkest Tinglu. Yeah, you don't care about ghosts.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. Like, the Tinglu plus the... Oh, it is also worth noting, for some niche scenarios, the Togekiss can wish the Tinglu if it's an especially rough matchup.
Those wishes will not do anything, but...
It's like 90 HP or something, I think.
To 155.
Yeah, it's better than nothing.
That is fair.
I feel like the only type that this team... Fighting is admittedly a little weird, but, like, Mega Spiritomb, Dragapult can take advantage of that. Rock is a bit rough as well, but again, Tinglu...
You have the best rock resist ever made.
Tinglu, honestly, Tinglu had a recovery move that, like, even just, like, Life Do or something, that mom would be fucking...
Nah, just run Rest Talk Tinglu.
He can run Rest, that's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like without the Tinglu, this team would probably be dog shit. But that Tinglu is doing a lot of work on it.
Tinglu and Terra Munchies holding this roster together. Where are we putting it?
I think you're overestimating the Terra Munchies.
I am overestimating the Terra Munchies, but I have hope. I like my dumb Terra Evioliters with way too much bulk.
Okay.
I think it's won't or might. I think it's like around that level.
I think personally, I want to go bottom of might because I think things like the Tinglu, I think the glue that holds this team together is a lot better than the Luxray one.
That's fair. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got that good Elmer's glue here. Granted, it's still the sort of shitty mass-produced Elmer's glue that you get in your school, but it is Elmer's glue.
But the glue, yeah, but the glue for the Luxray one is the one that someone's had since 3rd grade and they haven't changed out.
So. True. Anyway, it's time for Bloop, and this is a lot of chonkers that don't do the damage.
Yeah, this is just POW plus Fat. That's the best of this team.
Okay, it's POW, Frostlass, and Fat.
So
I guess.
Lynn's not here, so as I wrote, I have to yell at you for not drafting enough buttons. You didn't draft enough buttons. Lynn would be very disappointed in you.
Yeah. Like I actually mostly like this team, but I also like Fat teams. And like, to be fair, like one positive is POW is like one of the best buttons.
Look, if you're only going to draft 2 offensive mons, and you're grabbing POW and Mega Delta Frostlass, that's pretty good 2 offensive mons to grab. Yeah. And hey, Terra Delta Fairy Lilligant isn't that either.
Oh, certainly.
And yeah, and like the defensive core, like Go King Aurora's Gliscor, like even Kupalin to an extent, that's not fun to break through at all. Like they, not entirely, but they mostly cover each other's weaknesses pretty well.
This team's pivoting is also, like, kind of amazing. Like, you've got Chilly Reception, Glow King, Flip Turn Auroras, Volt Switch on Kabalion, Gliscor has U-Turn.
I believe the Lilligant does something with that as well.
Lilligant, I think, has U-Turn.
Yeah, and like, even technically, Baton Pass to Dunsparce, technically.
Yeah, like, this team has only 2 offensive threats, and they're pretty frail, but it has a lot of means of getting those offensive threats in. Like...
Yeah.
Honestly, the only thing with this team that I think is actually kind of an issue is the removal. Like, in the defensive side, like, just because it's Gliscor Mantine, which, and I guess technically Lilligant, like, there's a good number of defoggers, but the problem is that, with maybe the exception of Mantine, they don't really want to run defogger.
Yeah, like, your main hazards are Gliscor, your main removal is Gliscor. Like, Kabbalah could run rocks to Dunsparce could run rocks, but, like, they're not going to show up for as many as a game as Gliscor is. And, like, Gliscor's a good removal, it's a good rocker, but if it has to do both, then it's just, like, it can be overtaxed.
Yeah, it kind of is helped a little bit by the Magic Guard on the Frostlass, but it does put even more pressure on that Frostlass to get them off early than usual. Yeah. And the unfortunate thing is this team is going to the embodiment of the boots spam meme from Gen 8, because I really don't see a way this team survives, like, say, Toxic Spikes. No, actually, no, there's a Glow King.
Yeah, there's a Glow King. Toxic Spikes is fine.
A normal Spike Stacker into this team, for example, this team kind of has to boot spam to survive that. Like, especially on POW.
That's definitely true to some extent. And... like, POW is an amazing offensive threat. If you're not able to, like POW is also, like, one of the mons that, like, is super common to, like, try and, like, lure with Yachi or Colbert or a random mon. If POW is taking advantage of that way, this team will just struggle to do damage.
Yeah, I think this team is probably going to end up having to rely on, like, a Boots Sword Stance set quite a lot, which is a good POW set, but not one you want to bring every week.
Yeah.
But as long as the player can get around the issues with the hazards, I think this is probably the best team we've seen so far, actually.
I believe in the well-roundedness, but if Chen Pao gets gimmicked or stopped somehow, oh boy, what do you have to lean back on?
That's fair. Yeah, let's double check the type chart before we
rank it. Don't worry, I love me some Chonk, and I love
This is the team that I forgot about. Okay, I forgot about the burn problem. I knew there was something I was forgetting.
Yeah, we have 3 flyers, no flying resist, and 4 rock weeks.
Also, the only electric resist is the glass bar. I completely forgot about that. I knew there was something I was forgetting. Yeah, never mind. This is not. Oh, the rock weakness.
Yeah.
Okay. I still think it's a good team, but I forgot how fucking bad this type chart was. Oh god.
Yeah.
Psychic as well. Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe having your steel type be Cobalion was not the best choice
I was
here.
originally gonna say put it in will, but it definitely has to go to might with that type chart. Ooh, that's rough. But
Yeah,
that is
Slowking
rough.
or Gliscor can kind of go on by sheer bulk, but also they cannot
You
like
still
both.
want to resist. You
Yeah.
still really want to
Oh, yeah,
resist.
Yeah, homie got a 98 in linear algebra and failed 2 times 4.
God. Okay, let's. Where are we ranking this?
Oh, I've already put it in middle of might.
Middle of might. Okay, yeah, middle of
I
might.
think that's fair.
Reasonable. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoop. And now we have
Hey.
Mega Stunfisk, immediately followed by a Trick Room Setter with 180 speed.
That's also, I think, the only setter on the team.
Miltank.
Miltank has trick room? Okay.
No. Oh, you mean Trick Room Setter. No, I thought you meant Hazard Setter.
Yeah.
Miltank has Stealth Rock. I was looking
No,
at
like,
DOS
hazards are
only
fine here.
consistent
Like,
hazard mod
there's
and forgot that was
DOS,
Zeb's
Miltank,
comment,
so
not
we got
yours.
those. Pretty good hazards.
Yeah. Well, it does the Skull Pete. Or Skull doesn't want to set hazard because it doesn't want to set hazard. Skull
Yeah.
Pete wants to like to be offensive.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I would like
the
to see
problem
Scolopede be good.
I did note like the hazards because like you have a good amount and like the mons are like decent setters, but the problem is like Miltank's not gonna come to every game, and you don't want to force the speed to really be just a hazard bot. That's like a waste of the points if it's just gonna be hazard bot, which it might be forced into most games.
Yeah. I feel like this team also doesn't do a very good job of actually utilizing the Mega Stunfisk because not only is there no trick room really here, but it has a lot of options to pivot into it, right? Like there's Primarina, there's Mandibuzz, and there's Scizor. But okay, this might be a weird statement, but I feel like the things that those mons are able to safely pivot out of are a lot of things that are going to beat Mega Stunfisk. Like Prim is going to flip turn as a grass type comes in, for example.
Yeah,
Like,
at that point you flip her into Caesar.
yeah, but I'm saying that disrupts the ability to get the Mega Stunfisk on the field, is what I mean.
Yeah, I get. The main problem I have probably is like your team is very reliant on like you kind of rely on like DO speed to finish out games, and you want it to click hazard, so it's not gonna like either you're gonna have to forgo hazard and like do like life for clean or DO speed, or you're gonna have to not do that and just have like I guess the Delta set was like decent fast one. It's not that bad, but
I would kind of disagree because I do think they have other late game cleaning options. There's bulk up Delta Sceptile, Sword Stance, Delta Scolipede, and
I guess yeah.
And the
it's more
Scizor.
niche. But yeah, in the event that you can safely Sword Stance with the Scizor, Sword Stance Bullet Punch is a great late game cleaner.
I guess yeah. It's just I could see like against like I could see this kind of struggle. Like you have the decent good enough offense, but it's like a lot of it is because like Stunfisk is like your big offensive piece, and it's so slow and like the speed mons are good, but like they're not going to be bringable every game, or in the case of DO speed, you're not going to have like the offensive set every week.
Yeah. If I may offer an idea of what this team is, I think this is just a brawlers roster. This is not a team that's terribly concerned with setup. It's concerned with trading hits one for one and trying to win a late game scenario of just fucking fighting stuff. You don't really need to worry about the big defensive idiots because you have Stunfisk and solid and it doesn't have great bulk options, but it has solid bulk options, especially with Mega Stunfisk around and a bunch of setup mons around every corner. It's got just good enough defensive options to really get by, and most of its defensive options are not sit there do nothing options, they're hit you back options. Even Mandibuzz, the weakest member of this roster, is gonna foul play you, and that's kinda gonna hurt.
I argue Miltank is the
And that
weakest.
for sure. I just don't like that archetype in draft. I feel like that limits your game plans a lot in most weeks.
It can
It
also
could work though.
make your game plan pretty versatile by having your focus be just bludgeon stuff.
Yeah. It's still like a solid team.
Yeah, it's not as
Yeah,
deep
I
as
would
some
never
of the other
listen to it.
rosters, but
Right.
it's got some spice. I respect the spice. I'm
Yeah.
gonna take a peek at this type chart. 4 and 4 on ice.
Shaman, Stunfisk.
Yeah, it's Shaman,
Shaman,
Stunfisk,
Stunfisk,
Mandibuzz,
Mandibuzz,
Sceptile versus Scizor, Primarina,
Scizor.
Miltank, Scolipede.
That's fine. I don't have any issue with that.
Yeah, that's just
I think the
totally
type chart
reasonable.
here is
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see any like huge issues with it.
let's just go to placement, I think.
Yeah.
Indeed. Let's place this team.
Zed, what are you vibing with?
I feel like it's slightly worse than the might win a game teams. It's still like a decent team. It's just
I was gonna say won't. I was gonna say I would put this in won't.
yeah.
Just-
I'm not sure which one of this and Jiggies. I think they're like
I
Alright.
prefer top of won't because I don't see a Pokemon that the Lycanroc Lycanrocs just gets rolled by.
yeah, I guess that's fair.
Fair.
This has much more options for. I don't know how relevant this. I don't know how people understand this term, but I see this as the 50% team. This is the team that has around a 50-50 shot of winning any given matchup. I don't think its matchups ever get worse than 60-40. Or better than 60-40.
Yeah, I can see that.
Honestly, I don't think I totally agree, but I can understand the viewpoint at least.
That's fair. And hey, this is supposed to be weird,
Yeah,
talky stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Let's
weird,
keep going. Just
indeed,
for
I'm
sake
gonna
of
let
time.
you all do this because I really have to use the bathroom. So, yeah, the Garut St. Louis Swallows.
I was about to say I don't want to talk about this team, but
Oh, you have vitriol for the Mega Zebra.
I mean, if it's fine, as you go pissed, I guess I can solo this.
Yeah, you only need to gush
I
for
can
like
give
a
something.
minute.
Okay, so first things first, I mean, my own comment was, wow, bad removal, which I think holds up, because, wow,
I
that's basically
disagree.
Mono Moltres.
I disagree. Like, non-Terra Quack can like more
Well,
freely run like half and half like offensive, but also like support sets.
Okay, but
And also
on
Moltres is
this
a good
roster, does it want to be doing that at all?
Yeah.
But it's probably their best way to break steel types, but when Moltres is forced into a defensive role so many times in a season.
But also, another question: do you have time to set hazards against this team? And also, Dark Knight's gonna run boots anyway.
Honestly, I would say yes, you absolutely do, because like if you can set it in front of Milotic, in front of Orthworm, some mods can set it in front of Meowscarada, which isn't great at breaking steals that aren't hardly vulnerable to low kick, which is a good number of them. Mega Zip Strika can't really deal with ground types very well. You can set in front of that. I don't like this team's hazard matchup, and while Darknine is running boots most of the time anyway, so it's not a huge deal. Not having the ability to have your Arcanine not have to run boots with good removal is kind of sad. Aside from that, though, holy fuck, this team's offense is kind of fucking terrifying.
Yeah. it has the best mon in the game, so it's like it's bound to be like a huge defensive threat.
Okay,
I
Zeb.
don't think Delta
That's
Arcanine's
a bit
that
much.
good. I wouldn't call it top 1 personally. But
Haha.
I mean, it has won a chip in top div.
oh yeah, no, it's probably like top 10 insurgents at least. It's just not top 1.
No, it is top 10. I know it is. No, it is top 1. I mean, like, how can it not be? Just like Megasip is so good.
I'm just gonna skip past all of that real quick.
But
this
also, actually,
team's...
no. I do want to say, my comment still speaks for itself. I've tried to be objective. Like, it's undoubtedly like a good offensive team, and it has like okay bulk. Actually, Gudra, Milo's.
Gudra Delta Milo's kind of good.
With Terra Moltres and Terra Earthworm.
Yeah, like fundamentally, I actually quite like this team. The only thing I have as a problem is like lol Grafii.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grafii does have a purpose here. Grafii is this team's best stall breaker after Milotic. The Toxic Spikes option is actually relevant. This team has pivots out its ass.
Let me clarify. The reason I say lol Grafii is because Grafii should not be your only mon in the 110 speed tier.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, the matchup was more like, this is not necessarily bad, more like weird matchup. This team into Ghost is like, you have 2 normals and a dark, but it's like, you don't want to use dark, and Grafii is not going to come to every game, and you don't want to use dark early game to switch into Ghost, so it can become dicey, but it's not like the end of the world.
The Ghost switching is Gudra.
Yeah,
Or Terra Normal Earthworm, I guess.
Terra Normal Moltres probably isn't awful, or Terra Dark Moltres rather in the Ghost size probably isn't awful.
True. Yeah, Moltres glues this team together. Moltres and Milotic, those two are nuts. And Milotic on a roster with so many pivots.
Yeah.
I like this team a lot. This team is going places.
I actually do like this team a lot. It's the removal thing is literally the only complaint that I have.
Yeah.
It's
Removal, and
fair,
it doesn't
but
really
it's the
have a
only one.
big immediate thing to click. It's kind of got to dance a little bit around a big fatty.
Yeah, this team
It's
is
main
kind
damage
of like,
button.
none of them are like a huge immediate damage button most of the time.
Yeah, but I can see...
Its main way of doing damage is honestly just going to be repeatedly getting in Zebstrika and Meowscarada for reasonably powerful Volt Switches and U-turns just to rack up shit.
And you got Quackrival's flip turn.
Quavel has flip turn?
I believe it has flip turn. Yeah, it has flip turn.
Yeah, it has.
That has reasonable damage.
Huh. Today I learned.
I mean,
actually,
sometimes
this
you also prefer
team's...
U-turn for like, you want to switch your ice type into Quackroll, so you'd rather click U-turn.
This team's option for defense is Taunt Calm Mind Milotic.
Yeah.
That
I
was some
guess.
silence. That's
That's
pretty good.
It's a huge deal.
You don't even necessarily
I
need
don't
to
think
Calm
that's a
Mind.
huge
You could
deal.
just wisp stuff.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
guess it also does have a slightly like dodgy into like a strong fairy, because I guess Moltres like a good one, but like Moltres, you don't want to be defensive Moltres every game, and especially if it tears away from the fire typing, and like Earthworm into especially Moonblast, like this team kind of strongly like a strong Moonblast spammer.
okay, you AV Milotic that fairy.
I guess.
This team has options. I like this a lot.
It is optional.
Overall, very sound.
Removal
Like,
is going to be a problem, though. Removal is absolutely going to be a problem. This is a boot spam team.
Yeah. Type chart. I mean, yeah, like we said, I don't think there's any major
Not really any
Problems
particular
I see
problems.
Yeah.
Everything...
low at the 6 bug resists though.
True. Anyway, we've
But,
got to
yeah,
tier this
moving on to
team.
ranking.
I love this
I
team a
think
lot.
This is gonna make playoffs.
I think it's
This is
going to
making
hell.
playoffs.
I think it's going to hell.
Well-
no,
Not
it's
just
going to
this
hell.
woman.
It's going to hell.
Zeb, you're a biased fuck.
Okay.
Look, the
What
lowest
do you
team
mean?
right
Zeb
here
Zeb
is
just
the Ruin
spreading-
Gross team. You can put aside your favorites. Let's go to the next
Zeb
one.
is-
No.
Zeb is not biased. He's just using alternative facts.
Anyway, let's look at the Stockton Saraledges. We start with the top 2 of Insurgents Reign. And then we go to Delta Regirock at home. And
then they just kind of forgot they were drafting a rain.
and yes, the rest of this is not a rain team at all.
Yeah, and I don't think it's good enough out of weather to like if you remove the top 2, this is just a very mediocre team, and like
Yeah.
Insurgents, like I know like like some teams can like go without a weather with a weather mode. Like most sand teams have like you have just T-Tar and Extra Rail, and then you have a good team on the side. This team has like obviously the 2 broken rain ones, but Insurgents Rain, I feel like you have to go hard rain. Or
It's kind of all or nothing when it comes to Insurgents Reign, because Insurgents Reign, I've said this multiple times, I think Insurgents Reign is the single most terrifying archetype I've ever seen in competitive Pokemon. But it has to stay in Rain to be terrifying.
Yeah, and like especially because you have to take the rain mons, like you have to take him peak 1 or 2 usually. That means you don't have access to like some of the best mons like outside of rain. There's no chance you can get like a Valiant and then have a Rain Core, or like so you just have to go full rain, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if you're drafting that top 2, this is not what you should have spent the rest of your draft on. Like, Delta Muck, I think that works. That's fine.
Yeah.
Because, like, I will admit, I looked ahead, shit like Mega Delta Typhlosion had already gone by this point. Like, a lot of the good abusers were vanished. That doesn't mean there's no rain abusers left, though. You absolutely could have grabbed more.
Yeah, like even something as simple as a flying type with Hurricane. Like,
and Overquill.
Yeah.
And would also be much better than Roserade for this team and give them much
okay.
Also, like,
Roserade.
Non-obstacle.
If I may say my piece about Roserade, Roserade is one of the best corrode spammers in the format. And Terra Roserade gets even scarier. I would put Overquill over this Obstagoon.
Yeah, over the Obstagoon, sure. Double Poison on this team is fine. But Overquill, I think, should have been on this team. Also, while the Frostlass is kind of neat, you could absolutely have gotten a better Mega for this team.
Yeah.
Yeah, why is it Frostlass?
Insurgents has so many Megas, like...
Yeah, it's just like... And also, like, Dragonite is... Like, it's obviously amazing, but it's inevitably gonna be chipped down. When D-Knight goes down, how does this team kill stuff?
Terra Roserade.
But that's like... It's fine, it's good, but it's nothing special. It's like, when you look at the other teams and you look at their offense, there's...
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying don't underestimate the Terra Roserade.
Yeah,
this team is extraordinarily passive for what it is for the archetype that it's supposed to be.
Yeah, like the only way that rain can somehow work with like balance if you got Delta Regirock. Then you could like make a kind of bulky rain team that has like huge offensive pieces to switch into. But your only offensive mon that's good under rain is Dragonite. That's like, and Dragonite's good, but it cannot carry every single game on its own.
You know, I really wonder why they didn't get Delta Regirock.
Yeah. But that's just like my point. Like, you need to go harder on rain. Like, even if you got just like a Terra Floats or something as simple as that would make this team better, because then you have Dragonite and Floats that can like power through the same check. That's kind of the power of rain. They often have like 1 or 2 huge or like good defensive mons, but when you break through that mon, then you just get bowled over. This team doesn't have that.
Like, frankly, honestly, if this team did just have that Floatzel, that plus Dragonite plus Superior with that Roserade and the Muck. Wait, Muck has Water Absorb, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. With the Muck to absorb opposing water hits and Roserade to kill the opposing waters that Dragonite can't break through, which is very few, mind you, but there are still some, like a Lantern, for example. that would actually be really solid for a team of 4 under Rain. Like, I still don't think it would have a good enough option to round out the other 2 slots, but it'd be a lot better.
Yeah. And like,
I honestly don't have much more to say here.
I'm also curious, what's Silvale doing here? Like, why is it there? Like, Silvale is a
model
model.
I'm doing here.
And that's just one pointer. That doesn't matter.
Like of all meme picks, why that? There's like there's 1 pointers that actually have sauce. Why would you take that?
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I almost want to put it in might win a game, but there's so many fuck ups in the team building that I think going to hell is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it could still win games just by the pure power of Insurgent Rain, and like it's not like a woeful team. It's just compared to how good Rain can be, this team is just not it.
Yeah, it could be in might win a game, but I think going to hell is also
we do need a team in going to hell. I think I don't think we're going to.
This is a good candidate.
I will give my justification for going to hell. Why is the Abyssal Rain team better than this?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Let's go to the next one.
Fair enough.
Hello, Edmonton Excadrilles. Well, this is certainly a roster.
Yeah.
It's like,
I will say, Coco Valiant, it is obviously very good. It's not like game-breaking. Like, it is very strong. It is, but...
honestly, the reason I said I'd rather click X is not because this team is unbeatable, it just looks really annoying.
That's also fair.
So many good things.
Though, I do still think this is a good team, though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Obviously, like every Coco Valiant team, as long as you don't make a terrible team, will be good just by virtue of those two. And then you like to make up for those two being like very not good defensively, and like have similar like defensive problems. You have like Vespiquen, Mega Milo, and Torterra, and I guess technically Tokova like covers most of the weaknesses very well. Like, it's definitely a good team. It's just it is going to be very aligned. The offense is just Coco Valiant Jugglers. That is the offense. There is no other offense.
Don't underestimate that Mega Delta Melodic.
Okay, I forgot. I forgot it has like very good special attack.
Yeah, Mega Delta Milo is unfortunately the truth.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's a slow breaker. It's not like Calm Mind. It's not like super scary right off the bat. It can be, not usually. And like, if the opponent managed to like hinder Coco Valiant, then this team kind of struggles to break anything. But it's super reliant on the Coco, and like the gimmick like a train team. I don't like being very reliant on it, but at least it has a bulk to fall back on, so it's mostly fine. Just something to keep in mind.
I would not even necessarily call Valiant a breaker. That mon is a cleaner. This team's relationship with big fatties is very strenuous.
Yeah. It also just Terra Jugglers in terrain can be definitely scary, and especially now that it has Meteor Beam, it can do breaker sets, but it's still not ideal when that's your second or third best offensive mon. Coco's decent offensively, but these days it's almost more of an offensive support mon than it's actual offense.
Oh, certainly. And this team's problems are going to be with big fatties anyway. I would not trust my speedster to do anything to this roster.
Yeah.
I would trust my brawlers and my big chunkies and my stall breaking idiots.
Also one more thing. You spoke about Terra Moltres and the other not being great removal. Look at this removal. That's just horrible.
This is Serena.
Serena is a decent removal mon, but not when it's the only one.
Okay, it's Serena and Coco.
A team that thought that Delta Vespiquen had defog.
True.
Yeah.
This team is gonna go 4-5, huh?
Yeah, like that's the only problem. Like the problem with like it's a great defensive core, but if you had to stack against this team, then suddenly maybe the defensive core start to falter because like obviously Milo cannot run boots. Torterra doesn't like running boots, and like Vesperquin is mostly fine, but even then, like.
What do you mean? It's definitely gonna want to. It's definitely gonna wish it had another item when it runs speed boost.
Oh yeah.
This team, I like analogies, so I'm gonna use this analogy. This roster showed up to a hiking trip with its friends, overpacked on all of its resources, stepped out of the car, felt something was off, looked down, and realized they forgot to put shoes on. They're just in socks. That was not a good analogy. Let's go to the type chart.
It's a terrible analogy because what the fuck are you talking about? Obviously, this team brought too many boots.
True, it did bring too many boots.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
A defensive end. Is there anything that sticks out? I think it's mostly fine.
Nothing egregious. Somehow it has 3 poison weaknesses, which...
The fire matchup is
How?
dicey.
Oh, yeah, because you're a Coco Valiant roster, and you might just get Corrode momented out of this game.
Oh, yeah. The fire one is like, if a Firemon has grass coverage, oof. Is all I
Did someone say
Yeah.
Doc? Anyway, let's rank this.
It's like between my, like, I think it's like bottom of might.
Yeah, I'd like bottom
I
of
was
might.
personally gonna go top of won't, but bottom of might
Oh, yeah.
just with Coco Valley.
Oh, yeah,
it's fair.
I've got to go top of won't, because I need to live up to my comment that this team is going to go 4 and 5.
True. Yeah, that's fine. Like,
Fair. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
All right, next up.
one. Coconut. Why does this
This
look
is
like a
also-
roster of how much can I get away with?
yeah, like like this team is like maybe the scariest offensively. The defense is just scrafty. That's the bulk line. I guess
That is
kind
the-
of choice, but-
Crafty.
That is the healing bulk
Crafty,
line.
Muck, and Terminagros. That's the bulk.
Yeah, but you want to use your Metagross offensively usually, or
True.
like a mix. Like
Yeah, no, my point is that it's shoehorned into a defensive role.
yeah,
That's my point.
like this team is gonna be impossible to like consistently deal with, but it's also like you don't have switch into anything, or like your best
Okay,
is
well,
like
obviously they don't need to switch into anything if Megadol's Alopany puts the opposing attacker to sleep.
true.
Lovely kiss.
But like this, the games with this team is just gonna be like trade wars. That's this team. Like that's all that's gonna happen. Mostly.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest, it does a much better job of it than the other team that we said this is gonna
Oh, yeah, like-
evolve into trade
Oh, yeah,
wars.
I just don't necessarily dislike the team. It's just that's what it is, and like it's what's gonna like.
Kinda just
far
like-
enough.
It's kind of like top 5 plus 6th most weeks, I think.
Yeah. Like, and like another positive is like you have like obviously Samurai does obviously effortless spikes. You click spikes with your offensive move, and then between Metagross and Garchomp, or especially Metagross, is most likely gonna be the rocker, and then you have like hazards each week. Again, like removal kind of vibes, but this team is offensive enough that it can really punish like trying to slow the game down, like get up hazards.
Yeah.
But if you do successfully like kind of slow the game down, then you just win. Like this team cannot go slow. This is just like kill after kill both ways. That's how this is gonna go. Like I'd be surprised if this has a game that's longer than like 30 turns.
This
or
team
even 20
put its foot
turns.
on the gas and then tied its boost to the gas pedal with rubber bands.
Yeah. That's this team.
Hell yeah.
And for like offensive team, I really like I don't usually like that kind of team myself, but for an offensive team, this is like a super good offensive team. I think.
I fuck with it.
Like it's I don't think it matters that much like the like you. To be have like some of the offensive ones have like decent coverage offensive between each other. Like Chomp can come in and take something. Metagross can like switch and take 1-8, and then if you're like about to be sweep or something else, and like bulky like AV Sandward kind of like take some hits.
Yeah, this team's here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah. That's the perfect way to describe it.
Yeah.
The thing.
Type chart I don't think is that important to the team, honestly. I think this will make playoffs. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm
Like,
disappointed in how well this works, but
yeah,
I think bottom of will is very safe, personally.
Yeah,
I can probably agree.
The sustenance problems are giving me the ick, as well as the fact that your bottom 4 Mons combined to form 2 good Pokemon.
Okay, but also, S, you're the person who wishes that every game was 100 turns or more.
Yeah, like, usually I would like dislike, but I feel like, especially because we're missing Blin and Necro, who's more offensive, we have to...
If we have to put aside Zeb's bias for Mega Zebstrika, we have to put aside your bias for Bulk.
True. Yeah, this team's pretty good. This team is very scary in the team builder, and I have no doubts that it will do pretty well in preparation.
Yeah. I think bottom of will is a good compromise for everyone involved.
Indeed. And here we get to this, so...
I'll just keep quiet, and you can discuss it first, then I can, like, counteract at the end.
Oh, hell yeah.
Why is your removal so bad on Mega Flygon 2?
What even is the removal? It's Rotom, Wash, and Wailord?
It's Rotom, Wash, Delta Wailord.
Huh. Okay. So a couple of defoggers on your Delta Regirock roster. Your ability to take Toxics is limited to Delta Haxorus and Tentacruel.
Tentacruel is a good Toxic Absorber, though.
Tentacruel is a good Toxic Absorber. I will give you that much. I am a big fan of Delta Tentacruel. There's a lot of just pretty good on this roster. You start with Delta Regirock and Mega Flygon, which is a very good starting place for any sort of roster.
That top 3 is great.
Oh yeah, the top 3 is great. The next 3 is pretty good. The next 3 is pretty meh. And the next 2 are, why are there 11 Pokemon on this team?
Because Zeb wanted to get a Zebstrika.
Yes, but then you just wombo combo Dunsparce and Blastoise into one good Pokemon.
That is almost definitely because he realized he didn't have the Ghost Resist.
Yes, so you wombo combo Dunsparce and Blastoise into one good Ghost Resist. Pigeonholing Delta Regirock into Stealth Rocking every game is not the worst thing in the world because it's gonna do that anyway.
Yeah, I'll admit, I do like Zeb. I love you, man, but this is not one of your better teams, admittedly. But with that said, I think it's still an alright team overall.
I'm deliberately unimpressed, but there's disappointingly little for me to laugh about, and that's upsetting. I wanted to laugh about Sky teams in this video, and I don't get to laugh about this particular Sky team.
You got to laugh at Abyssal enough.
Yes, I did get to laugh at Abyssal enough. This is more genuine critiquing. So it's mostly just.
I can now respond. I agree. My removal is Rotom Wash, and that's kind of it. And I definitely agree. Like, I did want to try and get from more removal, but I also the one that fit this team the most. Oh, a better dark type with removal, Manibus, but that's gone. And my thought process was kind of just like, I'd rather get like better mons than just a shitty mon but that has removal. And I think Rotom Wash is a good defogger. Like, I agree that it's not great if it's forced into defog every week, but it's like off the removal mons, it's like a good one.
The thing is, though, you have to keep in mind that's with an asterisk, because Rotom Wash is significantly worse than Insurgents. Its bulk doesn't hold up nearly as well.
Yeah. That's definitely also kind of true. Like, against some Hazard stack teams, this could definitely become an issue. Like, I may have to, like, make some alterations later. But I also, kind of also the reason I picked, like, Tentacruel and Blastoise. It's just, like, they are cool Delta mons. It's also like, and obviously they should have had spin. I know they don't have spin. They should have had it, but I also kind of
Insurgents developers moment.
Yeah. And I also think, like, if especially for a me team, the offense of this team is kind of very strong, like more physical than, but that top three or like top four minus Red Rock, that's very strong. Like those three will come most games, and that's gonna be hard to handle. And like they do kind of like Flygon can struggle with steals. I have a Scyther. Flygon can struggle with fairies. I have Haxorus. Haxorus, I guess I kind of don't cover for like grasses or the grasses Flygon handles. I guess, and like Haxorus might struggle to break waters, but it's also can set up on waters, so it's like not that bad. But I do agree that it has holes, and like there were like mons I wanted, I like that got snipe, and like I had to like I want to try it someone, so just to, like to properly be able to like try like Scyther plus Wailord and like to get Winter back, I had to basically removal was like the thing I had to almost sacrifice to an extent. That could be bad. It could backfire, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I think let's go to ranking. Personally.
Well, we've got a
Talk
type
about
chart to
stuff.
take a look at first, and
Oh yeah.
flying and
but,
fighting
like,
problems.
Oh yeah, because the
but
yeah, I
there's
remember.
a Mega Delta. There's a Delta Venusaur, so like.
True, there is a
And
Delta
the
Venusaur.
Regirock.
Also, some of the fighting weaknesses are not on particularly relevant Pokemon, but some of the flying resistances are not on particularly relevant defensive Pokemon.
The
I
flying
hope you can
resistance
see
is
my
not
mouse.
locked in Regirock Delta. Like,
True.
a
What
lot
fighter
of the
beats
reason I
Regirock?
disregard the type chart is because there's a Regirock Delta paired with a Delta Venusaur. That's a fucking amazing neutral bulk defensive pairing. Like,
Yeah,
You're
and
right.
also like Venusaur is kind of like my catch-all. If in a matchup I particularly struggle with Mon, I can just like I use Delta Venu with Terra to catch that, and it mostly works. Not always, but mostly
I
works.
think middle of might make is reasonable.
Yeah. Oh, I won't say anything.
Nah, you're all good. We're judging this team in a
Yeah,
vacuum
that's
regardless of pilot.
Oh yeah.
And
'Cause, like-
independent
'cause,
of
like,
pilot,
The
this
flaws
team
we mentioned
is...
aside, that is still insanely threatening offensively. Not as threatening as the last one, but still threatening.
Oh, certainly. Plus, we've only got, like, 7 more teams to rank.
Oh my fucking god, we got 7 more teams.
We got 7 more teams to rank, boss coach. Alrighty, Anaheim Major
Okay.
Slashes. We're gonna see if we can do some super mega ultra epic speedrun strats. There are 2 1-pointers that combine to... I guess, what are you combining these 2 Pokemon into?
An 8-mon team.
True. With a webs
I mean-
option and whatever the hell this guy's doing.
I've drafted Delta Frog before. It can spike, it can trick, it can do some decent disruption, but like it should be your only 1-pointer if you're getting it.
True. If you wanted a low point web setter, just ditch both of them and get Dottler.
No, because that would make a cringe team.
True. You're right. It would make this team cringe.
Find a good 2-point delta.
All
There's
right,
plenty
all
of
right.
those, I'm sure.
So
Let's just
let's
talk about the
actually
actual
look about
mons.
this roster. We've got good physical stuff, great special stuff. Like holy hell, this murderer's row of special attack. Okay, I should probably ignore the Latias. These 2 special attackers.
Latias is a good special attacker. Shut the fuck
No.
Latias is a good special attacker. It does not bridge the gap from Terra Normal Boomburst to Chiyu.
That's fair. It's still a good special attacker. The Chiyu should have gone before it.
Why? This is a round 6 Chiyu.
I don't think that's that weird. Like Chiyu's a
Honestly-
great breaker, but Chiyu needs a lot of support, which to be fair, this team mostly has.
The only real thing I don't like here is like the pivoting isn't great.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
fine.
it's really only Lando U-turn and Galate Volt Switch, which are good
Yeah.
pivots, but
Yeah, and
also your fire weakness is kind of laughable. You're not gonna be happy when you fight Delta Registeel.
there's Finite Latias. Oh, you mean like
Yeah, but I'm
the has-
referring
oh, yeah.
specifically to Stealth Call. Like Stealth Call
Yeah.
into this roster is not good.
Is it weird to say there are like a lot of options, but is it weird to say this? I don't like this team's removal necessarily. I guess there's enough options that it's fine, but like Lando, Fini, Ladias all kind of don't love running defunct.
Something's running a move slot that it wishes it had for something else every week.
But when you have like when you have like 3 decent options and like I guess Hitmontop with Terra can actually be like decent, it's not there for like it's not ideal, but it's better than my team. So
It
it's
could be
like,
a lot worse.
Yeah.
It could be a lot
Like,
worse.
you're definitely going to feel like, oh, I wish I had, let's say, I wish I would be able to feed like knock on Lando, but it's still going to be fine, I think.
I think this team's gonna do all right for itself.
Yeah. Anything in the next?
5 fire weaknesses.
Fire
That's
weak,
impressive.
Fire weak, but you also have good resists.
Also,
so I think that's fine.
Okay, this is 3 fire weaknesses. Because 2 of these and 2 of these are 2 of these. So let's take a peek at this.
There's a reason I said stealth coal and not fire types.
True. Stealth coal is gonna get.
I think might make.
Yeah.
Right below Zeb, personally.
Yeah, I think that's around fair. Like, good team. I don't. Would I actually put it like higher? Like, it has good bulk, good offense, good.
So I could see putting it higher. It's just I personally feel like it does have some.
Yeah, but like even like the next percent will have some weaknesses. It's just like, is this team weaknesses more than? Is this weakness the same as like the other in Might, or is it?
That's fair. That's fair.
I put it top of Might make playoffs. I think.
I think that's also reasonable. I'll let S be the tiebreaker on that one.
I mean, every Pokemon here is just
like,
good.
We agree on Might make at least.
Yeah, this is definitely Might. Every Pokemon here is just good. I feel like I can bring the top 6 of this team to every game.
Yeah.
I think this team is more consistent, but Zeb has higher upside, so I'm going to leave it where it is.
Yeah.
God, I love it when I do the wrong thing on my keyboard.
Okay.
Let's move to this roster, and this is... Hey, here's those stealth calls you were just talking about.
Yeah.
Offensively,
well,
you said priority, and that's very true. Like, low kicks, bolts, like B-sharp has knock. I guess technically I-sharp.
Yeah, technically Donphan. But Donphan's priority move is not you draft it for the priority move. It's, I have this decent Pokemon, and it also happens to have a priority move.
Oh yeah, obviously.
If I need it in emergencies.
Yeah, and that does kind of cover for like the unfortunate speed gap from between Bisharp and Terrapagos.
And Bisharp and Bundle as well.
Bisharp and Bundle, obviously. Bisharp, yeah.
Yeah, Bisharp and Bundle.
Not ideal, but you have a lot of good priority to like help with that. This team it's not slow, but it's definitely not fast.
Yeah, this is a priority focused roster, and the bundle facilitation feels okay, but not fantastic.
Problem is, I guess the removal is fine. It's just you're not gonna bring Donphan every game. I think you don't want to bring it every game.
Terrapagos is a surprisingly good spinner because it actually has spin. It uses the speed boost a lot. So
yeah, well, my point is more. It's an amazing spinner, or amazing one that like it loves using spin, but it usually only does it once. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, usually when it gets it that one time, it's gonna win the game afterward. So
you'd be surprised.
Not literally every time, but if you're playing it right, when you're spinning should be when it's able to either win the game or get you closer to winning the game.
But the problem is, like, if you want to spin early game, if you want to remove
early
game, that's just Donphan. Or you
would also like to say, holy fuck, this team is extremely reliant on that Uxie's U-turn. Like,
yeah. Without Raging Bolt's like decent with Volt Switch. When it's not when it's not Terra and it can just like focus on being, when it's not like the big offensive piece, it can focus more on like support. Like
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a yes but, because my yes but is the Raging Bolt Volt Switch is really good, but the Yuxi I think is more important because of how important Yuxi is for the neutral bulk here. Like, if something here needs to just switch into a hit and just eat it,
that's probably
regardless of typing, it's going to be the Yuxi, and then the Yuxi is responsible for you turning back out.
I think that's going to be Regirock.
Registeel, you mean?
Or yeah, Registeel, obviously.
I mean, Registeel, it's in a typing that's solid defensively, but has a lot of important weaknesses, and it's forced into boots, which Yuxi isn't. Yuxi can usually afford, like, Cultiberry.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like, I might be overestimating how important the Yuxi is to this team, I'll admit, but I feel like this Yuxi has to come to most games that this team's going to be playing.
I agree, and it's not terrible, but I kind of don't like the Terramons here. I know Terralokic, some people like it. I don't think it's that good. Like, it's not bad, but it's like the first impression with Terra, it's just not that strong. Like, it needs Terra, and
it's God Pod at home.
Yeah.
Thank you,
And, like,
HDA reference.
Clear, I'm specifically talking about HDA God Pod, not regular Device Pod.
And also like the Tinkerton. It's not
what the fuck is this dragon matchup? Wait.
I feel like the only reason Tinkerton's Terra is I don't think we put tags to it. I think that's the only reason Tinkerton's Terra.
I'd believe it.
Okay, but like Terra Tink is not bad.
I just would have liked like a better Terra. Like, even if I feel like Terra Yuxi would be better if you can afford it, but it's
absolutely. But I don't think they could afford it because Terra Lokix was 12, and there's no universe where a Terra Yuxi should be 10 points.
Yeah, I mean you would have to drop low kicks, but like if you wanted to Terra low kicks, it makes sense that you.
It does feel to me like the second Terra was an afterthought, but if you're gonna have an afterthought second Terra, you can do worse than Sigmaton.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think this team's overall pretty alright. I don't love it.
Yeah.
But
I have problems with this team against taking a Scald. But that's about it.
Bolt.
Raging Bolt's pretty good at switching into Scald.
Yeah, you're right. Raging Bolt is pretty good at taking a Scald.
But the Raging Bolt's also weak to Ice Beam, which is notable, and...
But also, it threatens out the Scalders before it can take an Ice Beam, usually.
True. I mostly just mean if they go for the read, it's very vulnerable to that, but that requires a read, so... Yeah, I think we're gonna have a lot of teams that might make this.
We're gonna have a lot of teams that might.
So far.
Yeah.
Why? God damn it, Skydiv! Why do you all have to be good-ish at building teams?
Yeah.
Man, it's almost like it's the second highest div.
True. It's almost like it's Skydiv. Anyway, welcome to Moon.
This team, I've been waiting to get to this one.
Let's go.
Okay, can I open this?
Go for it.
Oh yeah, of course.
I made this comment for a reason. I really, really, genuinely love your offense here. That top 3, top 4, top 5 unit is great. Please, for the love of fucking Christ, get a Ghost Resist. Get a real Ghost Resist. Because if you don't, every time you fight an offensive Ghost, you are going to lose to your own Moon unless you can beat it with the Roserade. Like, you can deal with Ghosts offensively, you can't take a Shadow Ball in any universe.
Yeah.
Especially a Moon boosted one. That's it. That's my piece. That's my piece. Go ahead.
An offensive Terra Blast Ghost into this team is like...
Also true. Although that mandates Terra Blast Ghost, which I don't think most people are going to want to do against a Moon team because they're usually going to be a defensive Terra against this team. That's why I
and also like
the big example, there's a Delta Darmanitan on a later team that's going to fuck you in the ass.
Yeah.
Get rid of the Golurk and like probably the Electivire. That's a terrible Terra point sink. That should not be 15. And like get a better Terramon and get a normal or something. Like just get something that can take a ghost hit, please.
I'm gonna be interested to really see how Electivire does. I know like it's very divisive. Like I know well, Egg specifically think it's broken or like around it, but look, I don't.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. First off, I don't trust Egg's opinion on a Delta Electivire. Not because Egg isn't good at the game, he's very good at the game, but because Egg has a history of overestimating certain mons. And
Yeah,
also, because this thing is relying on an 80 base power oh wait, no, it's not even a dark type, right? This thing is relying on an 80 base power stab and an 80 accuracy stab.
Well, it clicks home clause. That's like the main thing about it.
Oh yeah, I guess. He also
yeah.
thinks that Hone Claws in Darkness is some second coming of Christ when it's just a sword stance with a nice little bonus on top.
True.
Like,
but yeah, speaking as like a dark, like when you compare this to the rain team, this is how you draft Insurgents Weather. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said,
yeah,
that top 5 it's amazing. I love it.
Like defensive vibes, most rain teams are like Giesing, Rotom, Mo is like that's your defense, and that's not great. But my god, that offense is gonna be scary to handle.
Yeah, weather team moment.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I really do feel like an Aldino or something would do a lot for this roster, like in the bottom.
Yeah.
S, do you have any opinions?
This is an A plus B roster. Just, I am disappointed at the lack of backup plan. Granted, the backup plan to the moon thing is Terrain Sneasler because of Giesing. And,
Okay, I normally shit on Terrain Sneasler, but Weezing is a bit more of a creative pick for that. Plus, it's not usually going to want to do it, so...
True. It really enforces the idea that Sneasler is a backup plan for this roster when the moon doesn't work. But I've seen...
is really good under moon, though. Yeah.
I have seen these sorts of double combo rosters do very, very poorly.
Oh yeah, this team is like... Oh yeah, obviously
this team is
like
all
one of the
in.
hardest weather teams I've ever seen. Like this isn't the weather team, but like,
if there's a weather that you're going all or nothing on, you want it to be an Insurgents one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
True. We have big dumb Insurgents weather button, and then we have this type chart, which isn't terribly relevant because it's a big dumb Insurgents weather button.
I mean, I mentioned the ghost type thing, but
also like kind of fairy, but also you do weaken a fair moves.
Yeah, but your resistances are also Typhoid and Giza.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, where do we rank it?
Where do you rank a team so unlike everything else?
I almost
might, personally.
I almost want to rake it Will, but it can also backfire so heavily that
I would put this in Will if it had like slightly better bulk with like a fat normal or something and a better Terra Captain.
I am also now realizing when I said I have good memories of double combo teams being really bad, that was being piloted by a new time father. So that is probably a not very good
example. I wouldn't even consider this a double combo team. I feel like that's going to be Poison Touch Sneasler most of the time.
True. It is going to be Poison Touch Sneasler most of the time.
Yeah, let's just put it in Might and then move on, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Top of Might, personally.
Yeah, I like it in Top of Might. The upside is just so high that you have to deal with so much broken.
Yeah.
But outside of the weather, and if Sneasler can't get anything done, there's just nothing going on. Oh yeah, and then we have the rookie.
High Rage.
So how do we rank this roster? If you look at the speed, that is a fake speed gap of 115. There's a Mega Eevee on this roster. Obligatory, it's 130. This is a Webs team. It is Dabear under Webs. I mean, already a good starting point.
That's great, but I don't think... I mean, of course, it's going to click Webs most of the time. It's just, it's great to have the option. That's
True.
I mean, problem.
Yeah.
I honestly, overall, especially for someone's first Insurgents draft, I think this team is like remarkably solid. I don't think it's amazing. It's not like god tier, but it's pretty solid. Like it's very sound to me. It
Yeah.
covered most of its bases pretty well.
Of course, there may be other rookies in Sky Division that I just don't know because I don't know them very well. But I do know that this coach is a rookie.
Rage is the only newcomer.
Okay,
There might
Rage
be
is
some
the
people
only
who-
rookie in Sky Division. Gotcha.
He jumped right to Sky by virtue of being Rage.
Being actually competent at this video game from prior
Yeah.
experience.
But yeah, like you have like good offense. Like obviously Shifu is very strong. I'm gonna be like the special offense relies on Terra as self and kinda Eevee, but Eevee's like mixed and like weird to rank as an offensive one, just because like it's Mega Eevee's.
It counts
It's
for
great.
both in my book.
Yeah, and like it is kind of very Terra as self for line, and I'm not sure how good it is, but it is still I think good. Just like psychic plus like getting whatever coverage you need in the matchup, and like Fire Blast is gonna be good in most scenarios.
Yeah.
And the bulk is
I
like,
mean,
yeah.
The only really major criticism I have here is the fairy being Delta Raichu. Oh, I guess Sylveon. Sylveon counts, actually. Ignore me.
I mean, it's great, but I wouldn't count it like that.
You can't switch in very well. Like this team doesn't love switching into, say, like, Dragon types,
Yeah.
especially early game. But I think that aside, this is still an overall very solid roster.
Like, I don't have any like huge. I don't think it excels in anything like super well, but it definitely doesn't have any huge issues.
Like I said, I don't think it's exceptional, but it's very
Yeah.
solid, and especially a good draft when it's your first time playing Insurgents.
Yeah. Do anything in the type chart to note?
Some flying issues because the flying resistances are Empoleon and Rotom Heat in a Spider Gross Bear Delta Lax team, which I would believe is not enough support for a core of those three guys.
Also, like I mentioned, the Dragon type matchup's a little awkward.
Yeah.
Actually, the more awkward one is kind of a fire matchup.
Oh, interesting. The
I'm-
one resist is
You got to remember,
Heatom.
one of the fire weaknesses is fake.
Yeah.
No,
that is
this
true. Like,
no, the one fire weakness, as shown by this page, that is all Spider Gross. The document does not
Oh, yeah.
interpret Snorlax as being a fire weakness
yeah.
because
like,
it is
Yeah,
not.
just trying to get that most of the time.
So,
I
like,
thought it said
yeah.
2 for some reason.
Yeah, you're okay.
That's fine.
The
Yeah.
fire magic, like a strong offensive fire, should be fair. Think that lags.
Rotom Heat has the same problem as Rotom Wash. The bulk just isn't as good in Insurgents.
Yeah. So, like,
There
against
is also
strong fire,
Vaporeon EV, which is notable as well.
you cannot rely on.
Don't
like,
trust that to take
defensive.
hits.
You can't
You
rely
can't
on EV
overly
defensive.
rely on it, yeah, but it's an option, is my point. It's there.
Yes, I guess, yeah. But yeah,
I overall think this is a good team.
where would we
that's-
put it?
Are you gonna hate me if I say might make playoffs?
I kind of agree, like top of might.
We have been ranking these
I
teams
wouldn't go
based off
that
of
far. I
upside,
would not
especially
put this
in
as a team.
correlation to their relative risk. This team is probably going to be pretty consistent, but it is not doing as much broken nonsense as many other teams in this division.
I would personally say put it right above Zeb, is what I would do. Like,
Fine.
I think Zeb's team can be used as a pretty good benchmark for the rest of the tiers.
That's fair.
Like, if we treat that as the median.
Yeah, that's
And yeah, I think this being
reasonable.
just above the median makes sense.
This is good job. It can be improved, but it could also have been so much worse.
Yeah.
And now we move on to this.
I know the kilowatt in Sun is weird, but besides that, I actually really like it. Like, strong defensive core, like Golem Go, Meganium, and Tusk, and I guess technically Aggron. You have good hazards with Gilmore plus Go and Go. You have strong offense with Moon and Go and again Go and Go. And like Gilmora is also like underrated offensively. You have obviously Moon and Tusk love Sun. Meganium double-edged sword with like fire boosted moves or sun boosted fire moves. I mean, but you also have super healing and synthesis, and then Red Ice is just there with to like super bulk out the team.
Yeah, Red Ice is just here for the body.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'm
like,
gonna be real.
mhm.
It's not a bad team. I'd even say it's a good team. But for some reason, I really, really, really don't like it. I can't really articulate why, though, so I'm not gonna harp on that too much. It's just a personal thing.
And like this team also like mentioned, it has good toxic switches for Red Ice.
This is a genuine 9-mon team where everyone contributes consistently.
Yeah.
Except kind of the Kilowatt rule, but you can just run Terra Flying, Terra Blast, and it's not the end of the world.
You don't even
Also-
have to go Terra Flying. What if you just go Terra something else?
And also, Weather Ball Fire can be like a cool
Yeah.
tank.
Weather Ball Fireworks, the Aggron isn't showing up all of the time.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like, this is kind of like a 6-man team that has a great, like, this is like one of the teams that are, like, this is technically a weather team, but it's also very good outside of the weather.
Yeah, this
Just
is
been,
a
like,
sun
top sixes,
mode
yeah.
where your sun abusers are just good Pokemon.
Yeah.
This doesn't have any bad mons outside of maybe Autono, but Autono works for what this team is looking for, which is
Yeah, and
a reliable friend to Delta Regice that doesn't mind a random ass coverage move getting thrown its way.
Also, it can wish past the Tusk, which is pretty nice.
Also, I believe it has
Yeah.
Heal Bell,
Yeah.
which is exactly what this team needs.
Honestly, I'm thinking the thing that I really don't like about this, like the only thing I don't like about this, really is just that I do feel like there was a better pick for the Mega than Meganium. That's like the only thing that I can really see here that I don't love. But at the same time, not having Meganium makes the ground matchup significantly worse. So I do.
Yeah, I
understand
was
why
about to
it's
say
here.
that's the main problem I can see is the ground matchup. The positive, you have like obviously Mega Meganium is very good ground switching, and you have like Tusk for physical can kind of swallow it out and Regite for special, but it's still not nice to have like 2 months double week, even if one is Terra and like another one that also weak to ground. Like,
An admittedly neat thing as well, actually, is that if the sun is up, Meganium is also immune to status pre-Mega because of Leaf Guard.
I guess.
Niche, but it's a kind of neat interaction. Like,
Yeah.
I do think that's it. Like, aside from just wishing this team had a better Mega or like
Yep.
another more direct Sun abuser in the low tier slot,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's a very sound team. It's a very
Yeah.
sound team.
The
I would
the one flaw I actually can say, other than like an iffy ground matchup, is your special offense is Go and Glimora. Both are good offensively, but also like both kind of also want to run like utility moves. So if you have to run
I-
bulky Go and Go and you have to run like hazards like Glimora, then your team doesn't have a special offense.
Counterpoint.
Yes, it does.
Terra Kilowattrel.
Yeah, don't underestimate Terra
I guess.
Kilowattrel. I've seen that thing do some shit.
I guess, but it is very weak. It's like 105
It's
special attack.
105 special attack, sure, but that thing can just go off of its stabs with its Terra more often than not,
I
and that's
guess.
pretty high power stabs.
To offer a
It's
piece
It's
for
also
this,
actually surprisingly solid as an anti-rain tactic, because like Terra Electric Thunder from that will ruin the rain team.
Also, well, the right team has 2 rain months, and that's it.
Oh, fair.
But
A
also,
hypothetical
to be
better
fair,
rain team.
like if this team would struggle against like special ones, this team has the special ones, so like who cares?
Yeah. and in
Yep,
addition,
no.
struggling against rain, Terra Grass Dagron. What are they gonna do?
Or Mega Meganium.
Mega Meganium's healing gets cut in rain.
Yeah, it's still fat as fuck.
It is still fat as fuck.
That's worth something.
To summarize
because
this
they're gonna be
roster,
healing as
I
well,
like to
so-
quote you used earlier, Palm. Hey, that's a neat interaction. That sentence describes this entire roster.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good way of putting it, actually. Like, there's a lot of little things.
I said I didn't like it at first. I think the more we talk about it, my opinion is rising a lot.
This
because
team
I'm realizing
just
as well
gels.
what the gaming does here. This team will make playoffs. Honest to God.
Yeah, I
This is
think
going
yeah.
will. Like, honestly, I think it kind of gets second place. Like, does that seem putting it too high, or does that seem reasonable?
Currently, this is the best team I have seen so far at being a team.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That's very fair.
This is the best coordinated meshing of 9 Pokemon that we have seen in this division.
Yeah, which is almost
Yeah.
surprising considering, like, I don't know if anyone like remembers this or like, but Oliboy is famous for like doing like in Grace. He always does like 5 different teams he sends in Grace, and he usually like maybe like doesn't actually like make the best team.
Honestly,
But now this time, I feel like he's finally figured out like this is like a great team, and it wasn't that good
Actually-
pre-Grace.
honestly, I'm actually gonna rectify my previous statement. Can we put this in Chef's Kiss for now? Like,
What team do you have? What team do you have for?
I reviewed it's Garut's team. I reviewed that team. That is a very offensively threatening team. It's not as structurally sound as this one. Like, this one doesn't have as high highs, but S is right. Like, it's so tightly knit. Like, it's very just. This is the little piggy that built the house with the bricks, man. Like,
This is just 9 best buds from elementary school got together on a Pokemon team. They have all of the chemistry already, and now they're also just good at their jobs.
it's just like the high school reunion,
Yeah.
and like most of them like the Salmons is going through its emo phase. The Great Tusk is just kind of tired working a dead end minimum wage job. Like,
And even better, this isn't
go
even
on the lottery.
fake. This isn't even fake not cringe. This is genuine not cringe.
yeah, no, it's like there's only 3 deltas here, but like they all have a very distinct purpose.
You're gonna
And honestly,
use
they're
them.
Actually, all insurgent spots that I respect as well.
All right, I'm gonna stop gushing. Let's go to Epic Toxie.
Yeah. Okay.
Technically, it's still like a massive speed gap.
As
Technically,
you do
the speed
realize,
is wrong on Medicham.
as you do realize that Farigiraf learns Trick Room, right?
I do. I
that's
also
why the
realize that
fucking
Farigiraf's
it
Trick
doesn't.
Room is for itself.
It doesn't have to be though.
Eh.
You can very easily set the Trick Room and then switch out into the Delta Golurk. That's not hard.
I suppose. But then you have to put a Farigiraf on your paste.
Don't shit on Farigiraf.
I used Farigiraf in Noradiv. I won Noradiv with Farigiraf. I'm gonna shit on Farigiraf. Anyway, let's look at this team as an actual roster. Zeb is right about this speed gap being slightly abhorrent. The Mega Delta Medi speed is incorrect on this document. That is base 100.
Yeah, I also noted that.
Ah,
That helps slightly, but still not great.
yeah, you're right.
Because like Sarah obviously great, amazing speed, but when you always have to rely on Sarah to like revenge faster stuff, and
Yeah, this
It's
team
not
really
amazing.
wanted like a 120 speed mon.
yeah, I guess it helps that like Darm is like one of the most scarfable mons of all time. There's a Darm, but it still would have been nice, especially when this team's priority is, I guess it's Golurk's decent priority, but that's it.
Golurk is not decent priority. Golurk is amazing priority, but
Okay,
it's the
I guess
only
I shouldn't have
priority.
called it
That's the
decent.
problem.
Golurk and Darmanitan as well.
I forgot that circle.
Oh,
that's-
that's right.
And Shadow Sneak. It's got them both.
Darmanitan really is just that stabs and nothing else, mon, huh? I mean, in fairness, it's all it needs.
It has so many coverage moves, and it never needs any of them.
Yeah, it's like it has the Delta move pool, it just doesn't ever run it. Its force move is
Sometimes
weaker.
it runs a fighting move for like an opposing dark if you don't want to like.
Yeah, that's like it. But anyway, on to the actual team. Back to the actual team.
Yes.
It's
I
not
don't have a lot to say about it.
Yeah, it's not bad, but I don't like that. Like, it's kind of hard to say. Like, it has a great, like pretty good offense with like Medicham, Gaujin, Golurk, Darm, and like decent bulk, but not great. Like Skarm, Vaporeon, that's an ORS. I guess that's Gen 4
Dark
type of.
Vaporeon is very good bulk, but it's not great as your only bulk mounts.
Yeah.
I guess there sometimes can be a fat gouging fire along with that, but that one's to be offensive.
Yeah. I'm also curious on the Livani. I guess to be fair, Delta Medicham really likes webs, but otherwise it's like, eh?
Wouldn't you rather have spent those points on a faster mon, is my question.
Yeah, and also, why is like Cryogonal and Fargiraffe and like, I feel like the bottom four
you could scrap like the entire bottom 4 mons, gather those points together, get like an okay Trick Room setter for the bottom of the team, so you still have that option, and then just get something fast.
Yeah, although this team would also need like an actual ghost resist if it lost.
Yeah, like I'm sure. Is there a low tier dark type Trick Room? Like,
I mean, at that point, just keep Fargiraffe, I guess.
Yeah, no, you can keep the Fargiraffe from the bottom 3, but like, turn the other 3 into a fast mon, and you're a lot better off.
Yeah, because like Cryogonal's just I don't know if I've ever seen Cryogonal actually do anything. Like honestly,
but not in a tier like Insurgent Sky.
Yeah, I have seen Cryogonal do things offensively in Egg, which is not real. Okay, what's this type chart doing? What is the fire and ground? How do you have 3 steel types? Golurk, Skarmory, Aron.
Oh, Aron. Yeah.
Ground and fire. Huh.
Fargiraffe is the only ghost resist.
Yep.
And also,
I mean, there's some solid neutral bulk.
It could be worse. You could have nothing.
Honestly, I do think that describes a lot of this team in general for me. It could be worse.
It could be so much worse. Yeah. But it could also be a whole lot better.
I think we won't make playoffs.
Yeah.
Shoop.
It's like the higher, I think. But...
Yeah, I think right there. Right
Uno mas!
The one major problem I will say before we go. Like, I don't mind running defog on it, but why Skarm is your hazard. Or hazards. And, like, it has to, like, it's your only hazard mon and your only removal that's, like, decent. Why is it both? You need, like, one more of either.
People can rapid spin sometimes when it comes.
I mean, yeah, but Cryogonal, the reason I kind of dislike Cryogonal, when do you want to use it? Like,
exactly.
Do you want to drop Gouging Fire for it? Do you want to drop, like, Golurk for it? No, you don't.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem.
Yeah, but yeah, we should, final team.
Okay, we got one more team.
Yes.
We got one more team. Let's just get this over with.
Yeah.
And here is the team with every speed control under the sun.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have... It lacks one in that it lacks, like, a weather abuser. Unless that's what you mean, like, it has sand, but doesn't have a Sandmon, or like Sand Rush.
No, it doesn't have a Sandmon. I'm just like, oh, I see webs, I see Trick Room, I see priority buttons. What the hell is going on here? We have so much speed control, and where is the speed to control?
My comment of synergy where isn't because, like, I see the vision. Like I see that there was a vision here. I see you're trying to Trick Room, but, like, why? If you're going for Trick Room, then congratulations, you've got a great abuser in Doc Ock and Delta Weezing, sort of, but, like, Crawdon doesn't want Trick Room. It's not slow enough for that.
Only working.
Like, this team feels so anti-synergistic within itself because, like, Avalog, yeah, Solid Rock's great, but it also really wants that Sandstream for the Spadef boost, but, like, also, so many mods on this team fucking hate taking Sand Chip, like...
Yeah.
I don't like this game, I'm gonna be straight up. I think it's kind of bad.
I am not a huge fan of this either.
I also, I guess it could work in the sense that they can help break down the check for each other, but, like, I don't think I like pairing Ogerpon with Crawdont. I can
The
get the
only
idea,
good-
they Crawdon can be stopped by bulky waters, then Oakburn beats them. They both can kind of be stopped by dragons, but dragon can handle both. I can
I'm gonna be
see the
honest.
vision, but I don't think I like it. So.
I'm gonna be honest, Zeb. I don't even think that's the vision. I think the vision is that Ogrepon is literally the only thing on this team that can take a Scald. It is the
Maybe-
literal only thing. Like Mew doesn't want to get burned. Crawlon doesn't want to get burned. Hydreigon's made to water. Rabombi's a Rabombi. Weezing has shit SPF. Bronzong,
Yeah.
I guess, can get burned. Sure, if you want it. Doc Ock's a fire type, and then Terra type doesn't want to get burned. It relies on Crush Claw to get like any actual like
It's return, but yes.
pretend damage out.
It has return here, but yes.
Ah, true.
But and also, I guess, why is this team relies on type null for pivoting?
Oh yeah,
Like-
oh boy.
There's Ogrepon U-turn.
Yeah, I guess.
There's
Or slow
Rabombi
people.
and Hydreigon U-turn and Wheezing Volt Switch
Oh, I
and
forgot
Mew
Weezing's
doing
Volt.
whatever
I
it
forgot.
Oh,
wants.
okay, yeah, Weezing is fault. Yeah, that's fair. It's alright.
I was like
It's
slow
fine.
U-turn, but like I forgot Weezing's fault. Then like you have decent enough. That's fine actually.
Yeah, it's just like it is mono delta envelope removal, which is a choice, but
Yeah. I mean that's technically a Mew, but this
Well,
Mew
no.
also feels like it wants to do a lot here. Like you want to have like one of Mew and Avalok, like one of them has the casters and one of them has to spin a lot.
here's
don't
the
want
thing.
that.
Here's the thing with Mew, right? You're supposed to draft when you get a Mew. You're supposed to draft like you don't have a Mew. This team absolutely drafted around the fact that it has a Mew, and I think that's part of why I don't think it works very well in execution.
Yeah. I hate to see, but I definitely don't like it either. It's like,
Honestly, I feel like we could just put this in might win a game and move on. Like I feel like that's where it's just gonna end up being.
yeah. Yeah, let's just go to the tier list.
Yeah, let's go to the tiers.
Oh
I
boy.
feel like we can. Okay, there actually is one question. Which one of these two is going to hell?
Oh, I
Personally, I
don't
think it's still
that's
the rain
question.
team.
Yeah.
I think it's still the rain
It
team.
is still the rain team
I
to
feel
me.
like this is kind of better because it's not like super reliant on like one thing. It has ways to win games. It's
It at
just
least had an identity that it was going for and didn't
Yeah.
forget about it in round 3.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that wraps this up.
I
It
believe
is
that
out,
does,
honestly.
after 10,000 years, wrap up this recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we managed to be like relatively short on Abyssal, and then now
Did
here
we?
are.
Oh, Abyssal, never mind. Okay, yeah.
Abyssal was only like an hour and 20 minutes ish. Maybe a
Uh,
little longer than that.
I'm sure we can double check the
Only
timestamp of my other
people
video.
managed to be- 5
Yeah.
people managed to be, or is it 4? Oh yeah.
There were 5 of us.
Oh yeah. 5 people managed to do it in 20 minutes less. That's impressive.
Yes, but we had
Honestly,
to give
the
less
fact that there's
legitimate
fewer of us
criticism
makes,
and
like, us
commentary.
more,
Oh,
if
yeah.
anything.
Yeah, true.
All
Also,
right. Oh yeah. Let's just
final-
pull back up.
Final
Pull back up the tier
messages.
list.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Pull back
do
up
we
the
want to
tier
make
list
a narrow
first.
trace to tier list?
Oh
or
yeah,
feel
we
happy?
should finish on the tier list. That's
Oh
as
yeah, I
usual.
guess we could look at this. I honestly think it's pretty fine as it is,
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
don't-
generally like this.
Yeah.
Honestly, what I'll say, honestly, is like, congrats to Skydiv. This is like when I looked at the teams just on the dock, I was like, oh, I don't actually know if I like this season's lineup very much. But like, nah, after like really going in depth on it, this is a much better division than I thought. Like roster wise, I mean,
I mean, it should be expected, but yes, also I agree. Like,
it should be, but still, like I've seen iterations of Skydiv in the past that have had much less balanced PRs than this. Like,
yeah, true. Like,
obviously, that's not a
sometimes-
metric for everything, but still.
Yeah, like sometimes you have like some seasons of Sky, you have like some super good teams and some kind of and some really bad. This is, I mean, you see the tier list. Most of it is in like mid, which for this team, when you said like the benchmark is my team, mid is actually pretty good in this.
Yeah, like honestly, the might make playoffs tier in Sky is a lot better than the might makes playoffs tier in either Infernal or Abyssal. Like obviously.
Do we have any closing remarks?
I do not in particular have any closing remarks, and I certainly don't want to make any closing remarks about doing PRs for other divisions because we certainly have those planned. Yeah, right?
Yeah. Okay, my closing remark. I think this should be the last message. Garut is a bitch.
Interesting. Fun and interactive. Let's close this one out then. Have a good one, y'all,
Goodbye.
and thanks for watching to the end. If you even did. Epic Gaming.